Hey, Dan. Hey, Dan. Dan.
Yes.
What'd you think of that?
Let's do this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to First Impressions. Once again, after a somewhat long hiatus. Sorry about that. Long story short, I got a new job, and I had a big project that I had to do, and then I just needed a rest from that big project, and now I'm back with Dan.
Yes.
And we're starting up Twin Peaks again, and poor Dan, it's been so long that he's forgotten most of it, but, so luckily for us, it still did not fail to make an impression on him.
No.
So
we picked things up on the first episode of the second season now.
So I can't remember, I'm pretty sure that I'm probably skipping over a couple episodes here, but I figured, what the heck. This is the episode that I want. Whatever, it's my show. I can pick what episodes I want.
Yeah.
But I figured, what the heck, because this is when things really start picking up, and this is the episode that I would love to get Dan's opinion on, because...
Well, it was very top and bottom heavy on certain aspects.
It was very long. I think it's...
It's an hour and a half long, yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
It's had a lot more scenes. There were a lot of parts where I saw you kind of like, oh, okay, that's it. Oh, wait, there's more. Oh, that's it. Oh, no, wait, there's more.
Yeah, I was like, okay, we're still doing this. And,
No.
yeah.
It, of course, it picks up at the end of the first season, where at the end of the first season, your agent boyfriend
Agent boyfriend gets shot.
got shot. And then that was it.
Yeah.
And then, so it just moves, and so we pick up right where we left off with him on the floor of his hotel, shot.
Yeah.
Does not appear to be in too much distress over it. He's just sort of, taking a knee, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then he gets visitors.
So specifically, he gets the, I guess, what can only be described as the ancient bellboy, or something.
Very ancient. That
Very
man looked like
ancient.
1,000 years old.
This was such an absurd scene, and yet, it was very much, it was still very much in, I felt it was very much in tone with the show as a whole so far. Like...
Yeah.
it wasn't-
So, yeah. Anyway, old guy shows up and everything, and, FBI agent is on the floor, clearly bleeding to death from a gunshot wound, and old dude just takes his sweet frickin' time bringing him some more milk that I don't even remember him ordering, and just ignoring...
Oh, I think he did order it. He definitely ordered it, yeah.
Just ignoring the what everybody else would do in this situation, which is call an ambulance.
Yeah.
But no,
He's like this senile old man, and he gives the thumbs up to him, like...
6 times. Or like 3 times. Like, he leaves the room and comes back just to do it again. And then he leaves the room and comes back again.
Think about it, it's a torturous scene, because you're just wanting some help to come, and you really feel the helplessness in that situation, because there's absolutely nothing Agent Cooper can do at this point. He can't call out for help.
So finally, when old guy finally takes off for good...
Then we get visitor number 2,
Ugh.
which is like, you didn't think that could get weird enough with that, and then Mr. Giant shows up. So
yeah, well, I don't know that he was a literal giant, but it's Lynch and his shooting style, like all the angles shot of him are like very old school, like Citizen Kane, where like the camera's in the floor and everything, and you're shooting way up in the sky, and the guy's like coming up to the ceiling. And of course he shows up, and he reminded me of like the ghost from Christmas Story. He's like, "You will receive 3 messages." And then we proceed into the actual episode proper, which sees him actually making it to the hospital somehow. And then I really like what they did with the whole recap mechanic. It's like, how long was I out?
Yeah, what happened?
What happened while I was out?
Flips open her notepad, like,
Oh yeah,
alright,
the secretary, I forget her name.
Leo's in a coma, so the mill's burnt down, and so-and-so's killed.
And I was watching and I'm just like, this is really handy. Oh, they're going to recap all this stuff and everything. I'm going to catch up on all the stuff that I've forgotten after all this time. And then she starts rifling off all these names and stuff, and I'm like, I don't remember any of those characters.
Yeah.
The story just sort of went through the motions of a typical melodrama, as far as I'm concerned. A lot of people talking to people in hospitals. The hospital in Twin Peaks freaks me out.
Yeah, don't go to the hospital in Twin Peaks.
First of all, the quote-unquote food is, it looks like stuff that people have already eaten.
Yeah.
And and I think this is the first point when I'm watching the show where I think the uncanniness has sort of gone overboard in calling attention to itself, because everybody comments on how horrible the food is.
Everybody.
And I'm just sitting here thinking, you know what would be more effective if, like, they showed us this food and showed people just sort of grimacing at it. It looks like just like slop. It just looks like multicolored slop. If people had just sort of grimaced at it, or people had just sort of pushed it aside and everything, but not, like, directly commented on it, it would have been a little bit more effective. But as it is, everybody's just like, the food will kill you. Don't eat the food. The food here's terrible. Oh, I hate the food. I'm just like, we get it. The food is bad. Move on.
Also happening in this is we get to see what happens when Audrey has to fend off her own father.
Oh, gosh, yes. That was creepy.
In One-Eyed Jacks, which...
She's
Audrey
infiltrated her way into thinking that she's all this badass super spy thing. And, you know, it's a brothel, to be perfectly honest, and everything. So she's had to do what she's had to do in order to get in there. And her first client is your old dad. And it's like the symbolism. It's like the dad walks into the room with, I swear, the longest cigar I've ever seen.
Seriously.
And, you know, he's just being slimy and just disgusting and everything. Like, he doesn't know that it's her because she's behind a curtain or whatever.
And then she has a mask.
And then she has a mask.
How many things
can she throw on and everything? And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I'm not going to blame the character, because the character doesn't know.
No.
I'm not going to blame the actors, because the actors are just actors. I'm blaming the director and the writer. Because,
Now, to the show's credit, like, she realizes, oh crap, I think I'm in over my head here, but...
Yeah, she realizes it in this very poignant but very Twin Peak-ish scene where she actually is praying
to Agent Cooper.
Yes.
Aww.
It's a very sweet scene, but it's just that it's that level uncanny. That's the subtle uncanniness I really like.
Yeah.
And we also go to Laura Palmer's poor parents. Her dad has had some changes.
That's a big thing, too. So Leland has gotten the white hair at this point, and he is...
He is like 7,000 degrees of denial. Like, he is just overcompensating in denial to a fault. Like, he bounces into every single scene just singing and dancing and everything, and you can tell that he is just repressing as much as he possibly can.
Yeah.
Until the point that there's a little scene later on where he just, it's too much for him and he can't repress it anymore and he just goes overboard, and that was the scene I was waiting for.
Yeah, so we catch up with all the characters. We catch up with Bobby, who has some sort of a reconciliation with his father. We won't really go into that. That was just sort of a weird...
I don't know that he really had a reconciliation with his father. His father just sort of, you know, came to, you know... Because he described this amazing scene, this amazing vision that he had of this warm and intimate moment that he had with his son. Then he ends the conversation by standing up and just shaking his son's hand and walking out.
Yeah, that was...
I'm like, what
and
the
shoot?
Sitting
there crying and you're...
Yeah, the boy, like, obviously, you've managed to reach your son. Now why don't you connect with him? But then again, I suppose...
the pie was finished by that
Well,
point,
the pie was finished, and I suppose, you know, tough military dad, I guess you could
Yeah.
maybe make a case, but whatever.
And then meanwhile, also in the diner, there was Donna and Maddie, the cousin, who... apparently Laura Palmer's sunglasses give you the power of sultry.
Yes.
Because that seemed to be...
She handed him over to...
I was going to say Bobby. It's not Bobby. It's
What's her name?
Jay. Well, Maddie handed them to Donna.
Yeah, and then Donna just, like, inherited the sultriness.
Yeah.
Those damn sunglasses, like I've said, if everything about this show is uncanny, the sunglasses were always crooked. In every single scene, every person that wore them, they were always just blah.
If you noticed it, you know it was intentional.
It had to have been.
It had to have been. Donna is an interesting character because she does have to live up to this Laura Palmer image now because James, that's it. James and Laura were in love, and so James still has her on a pedestal in some ways. Not really.
And I think she's also overcompensating a little bit because when she visited him in the jail, she was like going a little.
Well, coming on a little aggressively there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else happened? Something's happened. Oh, Nadine is in a coma.
Yeah, and Ed is looking after her.
Yeah, so that's...
We actually hear the story about how she lost her eye, too, from Ed.
Yeah, which is kind of also crapped up.
Yeah. We hear a lot of backstories that sort of shed a lot of light on some of the characters in this show who you thought were kind of the okay characters. Turns out they've had their share of weird, twisted, messed up stuff they've done in the past as well.
Peaks, in other words, unless it's for the pie.
Yeah.
Also, there was that extra who really liked the pie. Hot damn!
Amanda just...
I just want to be that extra.
The show continues its wonderful, delicious, to me at least, tradition of weird slam edits, where they just cut to another scene and they just start it up with something like that actor or something else weird, and it's just very jarring, and I love it.
There is plot developments in terms of what they find out about what happened to Laura. They finally seem to have some sort of a timeline of what exactly happened, and what they determined is that, no, it's not Leo, no, it's not Jacques, there's a third guy there, and that
We've gone from, who among the main characters could it have been to, okay, it was this mystery person who's none of these characters.
He's none of these characters.
So that kind of shifts the mood of the mystery a little bit, but, that's where it can go, I suppose.
Yeah, and finally you get that, that image of, or you get the, what's her face waking up? I can't remember her name.
The second victim, I don't remember
Second victim waking up. And she has a memory, and I'm like, holy crap, it's been long enough since I've seen this show that scene is actually really disturbing. Like,
well, that's her screaming memory. Yeah, that's what I said when I said to you that the show, this episode at least, is very heavy on the top and tail end, because the last 10 minutes of this is her vision of it, and it is something out of like a slasher horror film. It's a bit of a left turn considering everything, all the scenes leading up to that were either very genteel or very sort of plot developy or just sort of, ordinary but uncanny, but this was just going straight for like 80s slasher territory. I was like, oh, and then it gets to the most horrifying scene of this whole scene, and then credits.
Yeah.
And then
during the credits.
And then during the credits, it's this little girl playing the piano. She's playing this jaunty sort of dancey tune. I'm just like, no. You can't leave on that note and then just jump over into that. Don't do that. So I guess we're back to this again. Amanda has assured me that at some point during this second season, we do find out who the killer actually is.
Earlier rather than later, because a lot of the rest of the second season is...
You can't even find the words to describe it.
I can't even find the words for the rest of the second season, because I haven't seen the entirety of the series, actually, but...
Really? Well, this will be a journey that we'll take together.
Anyway, welcome back. I hope to be doing other series as well. I think I plan to do The X-Files, probably with my little brother, because he's never seen it, and he lives down the street from Dan.
Hey!
Hey! So yeah, anyway, thanks guys, and we will catch you in the next episode.